It was a really interesting process to try to narrow down to just over 200 works from 90,000. And at first I was saving things that were interesting to me from texture or pattern or color, with all range of subject matter and all range of artists. And I did have an idea at one point that wouldn't it be great if I could show one work from every artist, but that quickly became unrealistic. And soon what I started to see more and more throughout the archive was these human stories that were coming up. And my background is actually in social science. My degree is in anthropology, and I'm very interested in the way that human beings make sense of our world and the way that we record our world and the way that we record our interactions with one another. And so something that I kept seeing, where oftentimes when we think about art from Kinngait, we're thinking about birds and wildlife and sort of fantastical scenes, and this is of course so very much a part of the art history of Kinngait, and it is what has made it such an iconic studio for now more than 60 years. But I was also really interested in the way that people were recording their world as they either remembered it or as they were observing it in real time. And so more and more I started pulling those works from the collection that showed things, everything from the way that communities were changing when people were moving off the land and into settled communities, or the way that airplanes became the primary method of travel through what would become the territory of Nunavut, or the way that people were starting to come up from the south, or we were having interactions with other indigenous people across the circumpolar world. While at the same time highlighting the fact that throughout this process of colonization and change, there is still a sense of continuity, and there are things that continue to stay the same. And so I've built this narrative of this very critical period of change that's happening in Kinngait and in the North as a whole, while also building it around the things that stay the same, that stay constant. That's your families, that's your gathering, that's parenting, that's your relationship with your community, and keeping that as the central beating heart of the work while creating while putting it in the context of everything that's happening in this era.